Code Breaker begins with a woman named Sakura Koji Sakura on her way home on a bus at night. When Sakura looked out the window, she saw a blue flame burning several people. She immediately informed a man who was on the bus, but when they got out of the bus to check the place, there was no trace of anything. The next day, Sakura started her activities by practicing self-defense with the club members at her school. Sakura is known to be proficient in martial arts, so she can defeat her opponent easily. She is also the ideal woman of the men in her school because of her beauty. After practice, Sakura returned to class for the next lesson. In Sakura's class, there is a man named Ogami Rei who is a transfer student from another school. Sakura thought Rei's face was similar to the man who burned several people last night, so she invited him to talk during break time. However, all the students made rumors that Sakura would confess to Rei, and many students witnessed their conversation. Even though Sakura was sure that Rei's face resembled the man from last night, she didn't have enough evidence. Rei closed their conversation and left Sakura, but the students who witnessed this thought Rei rejected Sakura's expression of love. Since then, Sakura has been watching Rei's movements to prove the incident. When school time arrives, Sakura loses track of Rei. She kept running in search of Rei's tracks until she arrived at a park and met a hungry dog. Sakura gave the dog some food, and suddenly, Rei was behind her. He looks familiar with some of the animals in the park. Sakura explained that a man who owned the dog had been killed by a J-Vulcan, even though the police didn't seem to care about their crimes. Rei replied that they could punish the perpetrators themselves because life must be paid for with life and crime must be paid for with crime. In the evening, when Sakura was walking home, she was confronted by several members of the J-Vulcan. Sakura was able to fight them all one by one with her martial arts skills, but one of the members attacked her with a stun gun and tied her up with ropes. When they were about to do bad things to Sakura, the dog came and bit one of the men until they killed the dog. Luckily, Rei immediately came to save Sakura and burned all the J-Vulcan members using blue flames until Sakura felt she was burning too. The following day, Sakura woke up and was already at her house. She still remembers last night's incident, even when Rei was about to burn her alive, until she was traumatized by the incident. Arriving at school, Sakura saw Rei touching her female friend's shoulder named Aoba, so she thought Rei would burn her. Rei then whispered to Sakura that if she divulged his identity, then he would burn all the students at the school. Break time arrived. Sakura was having lunch with Aoba, but she felt someone was watching her and turned towards the window. She saw that Rei was there and he asked Aoba to stay away from Sakura for a while without explaining the reason. When the school hour arrived, Sakura immediately approached Rei and said that what he had done was the wrong action. Rei didn't care because he felt he was doing the right thing, namely eradicating the criminals. Then Rei tried to burn Sakura, but she managed to dodge and run so that only her bag was burned. People were shocked to see what happened. It turned out that Rei just wanted to make Sakura panic and said that she was a rare human that he couldn't burn using his blue firepower. Rei reiterates that his job is to kill criminals in Japan called Code Breakers. He explains that his organization is to be a judge with impunity so that if the police can't punish the criminals, Code Breaker will kill them. On the riverbank, a man named Hitomi is killing a man wearing a suit until a male Code Breaker member named Tempo Yuki immediately attacks him. Then came a man named Yukihina who had the power of ice to help Hitomi so he could escape from Yuki's presence. The next day at school, Aoba and the other students think that Sakura and Rei are lovers because they are always seen together and care for each other. When Sakura and Rei were on the sidelines, a woman named Fujiwara Nene approached Sakura. Nene accidentally opened her glasses and saw that the colors of her two eyes were different. Seeing Nene's eyes, Rei wanted to burn them because he remembered someone, but he didn't do it. In the afternoon at the park, Rei gave a white puppy to Sakura, which turned out to be the puppy of the dog that died yesterday. Sakura became sad and promised to take care of the puppy until it grew up. Then Sakura joined Rei in carrying out his duties as a code breaker. Rei invites Sakura to go to the Yakuza headquarters and will burn them to dust. The Yakuza were selling drugs and kidnapping a family. There were even members of the police who joined them and protected them. Rei immediately burned them all using his blue fire, while Sakura could only be stunned to see what happened. After that, Sakura immediately hugged Rei to calm him down, but Rei instead made Sakura faint with his strength. Rei immediately called someone to bring Sakura back to her house because he was going to slaughter a police chief who worked with Hitomi. When Rei wanted to burn the police chief, a male code breaker named Fujiwara Toki came before him to burn the police chief. On the other hand, Sakura had woken up and was already in front of her house with the puppy. The following day, Sakura's parents asked why she had fainted twice in front of the house. But Sakura was reluctant to answer their questions and immediately left for school. When she opened the house door, she saw that Toki was already getting ready to pick her up. When the two of them were walking, Toki told her that he and Rei were close friends. They sat in the park, and Toki tried to touch Sakura. Suddenly Rei came and beat him, but Toki managed to block his attack. The two of them continued to fight with their strength, but Sakura grabbed both of their hands to stop it, so they stopped and went to their respective schools. Suddenly Toki came to meet Sakura at her school. He wants to explain to Sakura that each member of Codebreaker has their own goals. Toki went to the school because he wanted to watch over and care for Nene because she didn't know she had a younger brother. At night, Sakura goes with Rei and Toki to carry out their duties because Sakura wants to keep an eye on Rei's movements. They headed to a closed building using an iron door, but Toki easily opened it with his magnetic force. When they entered, many people were shooting bullets at them, and two men had the strength and attacked them both. Their strength comes from a tool that can run out of power until Rei and Toki can defeat them. They continued their mission and entered the interior of the building until they arrived at a room where many children with special powers were being cared for. Meanwhile, children who do not have strength will be dissected and their organs will be sold. After that, it was revealed that the owner of the illicit business was a man named Tabata Shigeru, who was a mafia selling human organs. Then Toki and Rei looked for the whereabouts of the mafia. After arriving at Shigeru's place, the two men who owned the power tool appeared again until they collided with Toki and Rei. After they lost, it was revealed that the power they used came from two small children who had special powers, so the two children asked Rei and Toki to kill the criminals immediately. After the criminals were killed, the two children died peacefully. When they met Shigeru, he explained that the crime he committed was to find a suitable organ for his daughter. Seeing this incident, Shigeru's daughter immediately threw an object in Rei's face. Rei said that he did it to burn Shigeru's daughter's resentment towards him so that she would grow up to be strong. The next day, Rei and Sakura were walking, then met a female codebreaker named Rui with an appearance that looked like a man. Rui whispered to Rei that their leader ordered him to look after Sakura and asked him to take a temporary break from his work so as not to make him into lost mode due to exhaustion. It is known that Sakura's parents asked Rei to take care of Sakura because she is an adopted child they found in front of their house. She was injured at that time. On the other hand, Hitomi plans a crime by creating a human doll that he will control to attack Rei and Sakura's school. Rei immediately burned them with blue flames, but Rei's physical body weakened until he lost some of his strength. However, he still tried to fight them to protect other students at his school. Suddenly, Yuki and a male codebreaker member named Heike came to help Rei and Sakura. They were able to defeat all the dolls. Unfortunately, Rei was unconscious. Heike said that Rei was in lost mode. Toki is also seen elsewhere in lost mode, making his body like a child. It is known that codebreakers who use their strength a lot will experience lost mode, but the type of lost mode between them is different. Sakura asked them all to spend the night at her house. Upon arrival, the codebreakers learned that Sakura is the daughter of the greatest Yakuza in Japan. The Sakura family welcomed them with a large dinner party. In the evening, Rei woke up, and his strength had also recovered. The following day, Rei called Rui to come to Sakura's house because there would be a fight. Their guest turned out to be right. Hitomi was already there to kidnap Sakura. The codebreakers attacked Hitomi, who came alone, but they could not take him down. Hitomi immediately countered their attack with a very strong electric strike, but his attack did not hit Sakura because their attacks did not work against her. It turns out that Hitomi's goal of attacking them was to divert his goal of kidnapping the Prime Minister. After the fight, Yuki was in lost mode, so he turned into a cat. Then the codebreakers planned something to attack Hitomi even though they cannot defeat him. After the codebreakers planned everything, they immediately left and split up to find Hitomi until, in the middle of the journey, Heike betrayed Rui and attacked her. Then Heike met Sakura and took her somewhere with the excuse that Rei wanted to meet her. It turned out that there was already Hitomi waiting for Sakura to take her hostage, and she was placed in the same room as the Prime Minister. On the other hand, Rei's female assistant named Kanda receives a message about Hitomi's whereabouts and immediately informs Rei. When Kanda arrived, she met with Heike and Sakura. Then Hitomi immediately ordered Heike to catch Kanda while Rei and Yuki were still on their way to that place. Rei and Yuki found out that Heike had betrayed them when they got there, and a fight broke out. Yuki tells Rei to look for Sakura's whereabouts while he faces Heike. When Rei arrived in a room, he saw Kanda, who had been controlled by Hitomi, pointing a gun. Rei immediately burned the gun with his strength, but Sakura appeared and pushed Kanda so that Rei's attack did not hit her. At that time, Hitomi explained that he wanted to avenge the previous codebreakers because the Japanese people did not want to assume their existence, so he made a mess to avenge them. Then Yukihina appeared in front of them and said that a bomb had been planted in the building, and soon the building was destroyed. A flashback scene showed when Hitomi was young and just joined Codebreaker. At that time, he and the other Codebreaker members got the task of attacking a very strong man, but in that mission, many Codebreaker members were killed. Hitomi feels revenge and tries to face the man alone, but just as he is about to defeat him, the man escapes alive. Since then, Hitomi was determined to protect all members of Codebreaker, the weak, and protect children from evil, so the people highly respected him then. Hitomi then received news from Heike that the man had appeared again. They immediately searched for the man's whereabouts to take revenge for the deaths of the Codebreaker members. Hitomi could find the man and immediately finish him with his full-strength Code End so that he easily defeated the man. The next day, Hitomi got a Code End information. If the Codebreaker members did not experience Lost Mode, it meant they had uncontrollable power. Knowing that their leader was hiding this fact, Hitomi felt very angry. After that, Hitomi met Rei to tell stories and find a way so that the Codebreakers could normally live without using their powers and could coexist with normal humans. However, Hitomi's wish was rejected by the Prime Minister, so he used violence to realize his dream. The scene shifts to the present, where Sakura and the Prime Minister are tied up on top of a tower. Hitomi said that the Prime Minister would be killed within an hour, and some of the bombs they had planted in various parts of Japan would explode. Even some bombs have started to explode and injure the residents. Yuki used his magnetic wave power to locate the bomb's location. Then Yuki, who was with Toki, got a message from someone who informed Hitomi's whereabouts. Toki immediately went to that place while Yuki looked for the location of the bomb sets. On the other hand, Rei arrived at Hitomi's place until they attacked each other. When Rei was about to release his firepower, Hitomi immediately attacked him with his electric power so that the fire could not be lit. Meanwhile, Toki, who had just arrived at the building, was fighting Heike on the ground floor. The Yakuza and the police immediately secured the residence. Meanwhile, Rui was still alive and was seen blocking Yukihina in front of the dormitory until a fight broke out. The Yakuza managed to find the location of the bomb control area. When they wanted to get closer, two small children with special abilities were suddenly guarding the place and attacking the Yakuza, so they had difficulty reaching the control place. Luckily, at the right time, Yuki came there to destroy the bomb control place, so when the time on the bomb was up, the bomb didn't explode. On the other hand, it was revealed that Heike was only pretending to join Hitomi, and when Hitomi was off guard, he immediately attacked him. Toki comes to the tower's top to save Sakura and the Prime Minister. Actually, Toki wanted to kill the Prime Minister but didn't want Nene to lose her father, who was the Prime Minister. The members of Codebreaker then came to the tower to confront Hitomi until he felt cornered. Then Hitomi issued his electric power to reactivate all the bombs, but Rei managed to thwart his plan by covering the tower with black fog until a fight broke out in the tower. When Rei feels everything must end soon, he uses all his strength to fight Hitomi's electric power with Code End. Hitomi fell to his death, but he had asked the Codebreakers not to use their power often so as not to enter the Code End. Suddenly the Prime Minister came to the place where they were gathered, and he insulted the Codebreakers. Hitomi, who heard this, was immediately angry and used his strength to kill him. But Rei stopped him because they didn't want Hitomi to be judged as a criminal and asked him to die peacefully without thinking about them anymore. Hitomi finally died in front of them. While Heike was seen in the car with the Prime Minister, suddenly the Prime Minister vomited blood, and Heike found out that Hitomi had hidden his attack. Seeing this, Heike was happy because he didn't like state officials, but so far, he couldn't kill them directly. At the end of the story, the Codebreakers and Rei parted with Sakura because they had to carry out missions elsewhere. The moral that can be learned from this anime is that bad people come from good people who are hurt, so in our behavior, we must pay attention to whether it can hurt someone's heart or not.